I'm back in my feast or famine style of doing videos. All the good stuff happens at once, and I want to share it with you. So this is going to be another Oracle Tarot deck video, and it's going to be a bit of a review and just a bit of a discussion. I'm likely to ramble, as I do, so if you're looking for a short, quick video, you might want to jet right now, because I doubt that it's going to be short. Probably longer than the just incense video I just did, and that was long enough, right? So I want to talk about some decks, some Oracle stuff, some Tarot stuff, and just general Oracle Tarot stuff, and then do a review on a new tarot that I bought recently that I'm in love with. So, tarot and oracle decks. I usually, or thought I did, preferred tarot because once I don't want to say learn tarot because I certainly don't know all there is to know, but I'm past the beginner stage, I think. I really liked the fact that it was the same system, just different artwork or a bit of a different perspective. And by that I mean that the decks that I have are all takes on the Coleman Rider-Waite system. I've used Aleister Crowley Thoth or however you say that. I don't have one right now. I've used it. It's okay. It's interesting. I'm not really interested in learning a system like that. Or no, I shouldn't say it that way. I'm not interested right now in taking on a new system and learning it. And that was one of the things that I thought that I didn't like about Oracle decks, is because everyone was something different, and it was the author's own take on divination or affirmation. And I really didn't think that I would enjoy Oracle decks, but as it turns out, I have now collected 8 of them. And I'm finding that I really enjoy them, and on days when I really don't want to delve into tarot and I don't want to mess with, sometimes tarot can play mind games in a sense, where you have a tarot deck that wants to screw with you, and thank you very much, don't all the time have the time or the energy for that. So a lot of times I'll just grab an Oracle deck because I want an answer to something, and I'm looking for, this is going to sound horrible, but I'm looking for more of a positive answer too. My God, life is negative enough, and sometimes I just don't feel like seeing the Tower or, you know, something like that in a tarot deck. And so I started getting a little more into Oracle decks, and I bought several of them, and I'm going to sound like a complete Doreen Virtue nut, and I'm not. And I know what you're thinking, because I know you're thinking, oh, Doreen Virtue. It's like having Silver Ravenwolf books, right? And I also really like Silver Ravenwolf, but that's a topic for another video. But I don't subscribe to Doreen Virtue. I'm not Christian. Christian symbology is no longer one of my things. And I had the Angel Tarot deck, and I recently gave that away because I just never connected with it. And the artwork was beautiful, but I could never get a straight answer out of it. It was like a fairy deck. Like, I don't connect with fairy energies. I feel like they're always messing with you, and I don't have the patience for that, and I felt like that with that tarot deck. But I have several Doreen Virtue decks, in particular these two. One is Healing with the Fairies, one is Healing with the Angels. And I can't even tell you why I bought these, to be perfectly honest with you. I bought them both at the same time, I think. And I think I bought them I have that Romance Angels one too, so I have even another Doreen Virtue. And I think it came right after I was watching a lot of either Glammy Witch's videos or Elizabeth Crowley's videos. I know she uses both of these, particularly this one, quite a lot. But what I found recently is that this deck, this Healing with the Angels, will not leave me alone. I'll go to put it up and it falls off the shelf. And I don't mean that in a negative way, like it's pestering me or something, but like I can't put it up and I can't quit reading with it. And the readings, you guys, are bang on. Bang on. Stuff I haven't really even admitted to myself. Like, it might have been a thought or a niggling thought at the back of my mind that I really didn't want to admit or what have you. And not in a negative way, because one of the things I don't think Oracle cards are particularly good at is working with the shadow side of yourself, or more shadowy energies, or the decks that I've used have not been anyway. So this Healing with the Angels, though, has been crazy bang on. More truthful, more right on than any tarot deck I've ever used. And I have some tarot decks that I really love, but there's something crazy about both of these decks. And they're very similar. One is angel art. I didn't dig them out to do really a review, but the art styles in some of these are wildly different, and that's one of the things I haven't liked about Doreen Virtue's is you might get something like this with something like this. So you have a very Renaissance-y, pre-Raphaelite, I don't know exact era, but really gorgeous artwork next to something that's more of a hand-drawn style. And so the artwork is kind of squirrely in a sense. Then you have these ridiculous borders. Oh God, I hate decks with borders. Do you remember those in the 80s, those things that you used to look at? It was like 3D magic or whatever, and you would have to kind of cross your eyes to see the 3D picture inside. Oh, that's what all of these look like. Some of them aren't as obtrusive and obnoxious as the others, so you might have something that's a calmer one. But look at this. Why do you hamper your decks that way? Think how beautiful this would be if the image filled the entire space of the card. I don't know why they do that. And both of these, Healing with the Angels and Healing with the Fairies, have those type of just ridiculous borders. I don't know who the art director was, but they need to be bitch slapped because it was just a stupid decision. And if it was Doreen Virtue herself, she needs it because it was a stupid decision. So here's the Healing with the Fairies. Same hideous borders. And I don't like borders on decks anyway. I understand why they do it. I'm sure it's easier to do that, and it saves money. But it's ugly. It's always ugly, even with the black borders. And then when you have black borders on cards, a lot of times they'll start showing wear a lot sooner because the edge is black. See, look at the artwork on this. This is kindness, interestingly enough, and I'm fixing to be all hateful, in the Healing with the Fairies Oracle deck. And they put this hideous border on it. Why do you do that? Anyway, both decks equally as truthful, equally as spot on. And I have to tell you that I highly recommend both of them. I don't care whether they're Doreen Virtue, whatever. I love them both, and I use them a lot, particularly lately. So then Hay House had a sale recently, and I don't know if you saw that, but wow, yeah. I wasn't going to buy any more Doreen Virtue decks because I already felt like really conspicuous, because I also have the Goddess Guidance Oracle that I actually found at a thrift store in Albuquerque, and I like this one too. It's okay, and this is not my favorite. Thankfully, it doesn't have those hideous borders. It does have a border around it, but they're not quite as hideous, although you could argue that that kind of mint green really does not belong anywhere, much less in an Oracle deck. This one's slightly better. But the point I'm trying to make in these is that this is really gorgeous. Guinevere card. Is that the borders, and they do it, I suspect, particularly in this deck, because every card has text underneath it, talks about the card a little bit. And these actually are gilt. Yeah, you can't see it. So these are not quite as hideous and disgusting as the borders on the Healing with the Fairies and the Healing with the Angels. I understand why they do it. I hate it. And so when there's a chance to buy a borderless deck, I jump on it, and I have two now, and I have ordered a third. The third one I'm very excited about. The Deviant Moon Tarot is coming out. Patrick Valenza is doing like a special right now on his website for a borderless Deviant Moon Tarot. Very exciting. Go check it out. Very well worth it. I cannot wait to get those. If you already like Deviant Moon, you're going to love the fact that it's borderless. It can only get better with larger artwork. The Morgan Greer is a borderless deck, and I'll show you a couple of those just so you see what I'm saying. Not by way of doing a deck review. I've already done a review on this. But as you can see, so the number and the title is like up at the top. I was going to try to find... So if it's minor arcana, it's the number, and then obviously you can tell what suit that is. That's swords, right? So these are borderless, and these are fantastic, and this is the only deck that I've ever picked up at a store that I could not put down. Like, it had to come home with me. And I told that story in the review. So if you're interested in seeing more of the cards, go take a look at that review. So I had Morgan Greer, and I love that. And then not too long ago, I saw a review that someone did, probably Tarot Oracle, here on YouTube, for this Tarot Illuminati. This is it's a very Rider-Waite, clone-ish, I don't like that word, but follows that system. Only like on, I'd say steroids, but those are bad. I don't know. This is beautiful, and I knew I would like it. And then when I first got it, I was a little bit disappointed. And the more I used it, the more I played with it, the more I could not put it down. It's stunning. I'm going to show you a little bit of it. So it comes in this box. It's got the nice magnetic opening. It looks like this when you open it, and it's got the guidebook here. You pull the guidebook out, which is not my favorite guidebook. It's all right. And then they did a stupid thing where you could buy the rest of the guidebook or a more in-depth guidebook as an e-book adjunct to this. And I think that was a really stupid marketing decision. I think it should have come with it, or you should have been able to buy this one or an upgrade set. And I think making it an e-book was just a stupid decision, but what do I know, right? Then the cards are down in this well, and there's a ribbon so that you can grab the ribbon and pull the deck up out of the well in the box. And then these are gilt. These are the backs. There's the gilt on the side. And you can, as you can see, it's thicker than most standard tarot decks because the cardstock is thicker. I don't have a tarot deck sitting out to show you, but I mean, you can tell that that's thicker than most standard tarot decks. It is a standard tarot deck, though. It's 78 cards, and they are just stunningly beautiful. It's a combination, I suspect, of some collage, some computer stuff, some actual people, some photographs, perhaps some drawing. I don't know. There is the Eight of Swords. You can see that it's beautifully borderless. The only border is down at the bottom. It's completely unobtrusive, and the images are absolutely just stunning. And I'm just going to show you a few that are right here on top. I haven't picked anything out. Princess of Wands. And even the background details are just overwhelmingly stunning. This deck is beautiful. This is another deck that once I got it, like I said, I got it, and then I opened it, and I was a little bit let down for whatever reason. I don't really know, but then as I started using it, then I couldn't put it down, and I really think that this is my tarot deck. I just love it. I've just been working more with Oracle lately, but that's just a really strange phenomenon. Ace of Wands. Queen of Swords. This one's just amazing, isn't it? Did I say Queen of Swords? I hope I did. Three of Swords. The heart is like bejeweled and bedecked. I like the stormy seas in the back of it and the stormy image in the back of it. I think that really helps with that. Not that you didn't get the message. Nine of Swords. There's really only one card in this deck that I'm not particularly fond of, and it just came up. I wouldn't have remembered it if it hadn't come up. I wouldn't have remembered to tell you, but the Temperance is ugly. I'm sorry. I don't care what you say. It's like this weird... I don't like it. I'm not fond of this card. And only because I think the person is just strange looking. Like, the head is too small or something. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, the shoulders are very wide, the head is too small. I don't know. Maybe it's just the proportion that bothers me. Not sure. But I don't want to do a huge review of this, just that if you're a tarot collector, you like tarot, you need to get this deck. You need to get at least one copy of it. You might want to get two, because I don't think anything like this is going to come around the bend anytime soon again. I've never seen anything like this. I suspect that this is really going to be a one-of-a-kind thing. You might want to pick up two copies. I'm very, very tempted to order another copy. Chariot. I didn't already say. My apologies. And it's just, I mean, you can see even in I want to get closer here because I want to show you even the detail of the backgrounds. It's just very rich, very full. Four of Pentacles. And every suit has a very different feel to it. So the Pentacles is going to feel very different than the Cup. Like Cups is a very sort of European feel. The Pentacles is a very Asian feel. And I have no issues with that. I think it's pretty cool. Different. Two of Pentacles. I don't think it makes the deck feel incongruous at all. This so reminds me. This is the Queen of, or I'm sorry, the Empress. And this so reminds me of what's her bucket that played Padme in the Star Wars? She plays in Thor 2. What is that woman's name? Oh. Natalie Portman in the Star Wars movies. And look at her. Look at the detail on her dress, the fabric in her gown. And every card is like that. It's like eye candy. It's just, you know, you could spend all day not even reading with them, just mucking about and looking through them. They're just, here's the Ten of Swords. Look at the somber, dark background with it. And I think what's interesting to me about these two is that tarot artwork isn't always as impressive in the background as it is in the foreground. So oftentimes you'll have a well-done foreground, and then it's like they forgot the background or something, or it just doesn't add to it. And I don't want to take anything away from Pamela Coleman Smith, but one of the things that I've never liked, and I don't own a regular Rider-Waite deck, is all those hideous yellow backgrounds. My eyes, it's like painful to my eyeballs. And in other tarot decks, I've seen this done, is that they just don't pay as much attention to the background as the foreground. And so and one of the things I find particularly impressive about this artwork is that the background is in as much detail as the foreground, and it really adds to the image, I think, to the feel of the image, to the atmosphere of the image. Look at this, Seven of Swords. And look at the almost circus tent, Renaissance fair tent, feeling to these. You know, and it's as impressive in the background as it is in the foreground. I think that's one of the things about this deck that is just magnificently successful. Here's the High Priestess. You can see the moon is shining in through the top. And look at the layers of her gown, and the fabric of her gown is very detailed, and you can see through the pillars here and on the other side in the same place. The pillars have texture to them that I'm not sure could have been, I'm not sure this could have been accomplished prior to having the level of computer artwork that we have today, because I'm sure this had to have been done on a computer to get that kind of level of detail in the background that you then also have in the foreground. Five of Pentacles. So anyway, I absolutely love this deck. All-time favorite tarot, and I'm very, very tempted to order another copy, because you know what's going to happen is, with anything that's gilt, the second you get something wet on it, or the more you shuffle, that's another thing. These are not particularly easy to shuffle if you do a regular playing card shuffle, as other decks, because the cardstock is better, which I would much rather have better cardstock. Look, here's another one that's just, I have to pull this out and show you. And I'm very tempted to order another copy of this. This guy looks like Hugh Jackman, huh? No, you're not going to be able to tell. But look at the level of detail. There's texture in this pillar. There's texture to his robes. There's just detail and texture that I have never seen in any tarot deck. There's a fish jumping out of the water. And look at the muscles on his thigh. I mean, it's just absolute eye candy. So even if you don't read with this deck, even if you get it and the energies don't turn your crank or whatever, or you don't find it worthy as a reading deck, this would be as a collector, if you collect it all, or if you like artwork, very worthy of a buy. So that was the tarot deck that I wanted to review quickly for you, but I also wanted to say that Hay House had a sale the other day, and I fell down again for another Doreen Virtue. This is the Magical Mermaids and Dolphins deck. You know, I don't know. I wanted to give it a try. Elizabeth Crowley uses this one off and on. And some of the artwork was pretty. The borders aren't as hideous, but they detract from the artwork of the cards, as they do in every deck. It doesn't matter. That's the back of them, I'm sorry. It does have a border, though. That's the back. But it does have a border, because Oracle decks, and I understand this, you know, they have flavor text down here, or they have the, not flavor text, they have like the meaning of the card, immediate meaning down at the bottom. But I still think there could be a way. I mean, if the image went border to border, you could still add that on top of the image, and you would have a bigger image. And then again, some of the colors are just messed up. So, like, if I do that to them, you can see that, golly, Easter eggs much? I don't know. I don't think any deck is improved by adding borders to the damn thing. I just don't. So the artwork in this is very nice. I'm not especially drawn to either mermaids or dolphins. It was $5. For $5, you can try a deck if you hate it. Your kids might like it. Or sometimes, I know I have been a purchaser of decks that were meant to go to somebody else. It's like that Angel Tarot. The person I gave it to was meant to have it. So, you know, sometimes that happens. Playtime. So I don't know. I just, you know, with the success of the Healing with the Fairies and Healing with the Angels, I thought it couldn't hurt. At the very least, you're probably going to get a different energy, because you're going to get a more watery, more watery, obviously, energy out of a Mermaids and Dolphins Oracle deck. And then I don't know if this one, obviously, Doreen Virtue believes in God. I don't know if she's considers herself Christian. I'm just turning that around because I can't stand if my cards are going the wrong way as compared to the box. That bothers me. I don't know if she's a Christian, but all of her guidebooks are, you're a beloved child of God, and the angels and God are looking out, blah, 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 or whatever. And I suspect that this one is the same. I have not looked through it. I just got these today. So I've looked through the deck. I've touched every card. That's it. I haven't read with it or anything. I suspect it's similar because her philosophy seems consistent to me throughout her decks. Then I'm really excited about this one. The Psychic Tarot Oracle by John Holland. Y'all, I was not going to get this. And then recently I saw a review, and I want to say it was Al Moon, but I don't know. What is her? Al Moon 551, whatever. She does really great tarot reviews. I don't know who it was, though. I don't know if it was her or if it was the Four Queens, who is amazingly smart and interesting. And if you're not already subscribed to the Four Queens, is her name, or her YouTube channel, you should be. She's fabulous. Somebody did a review on it, and I thought, eh. And then Hay House had a sale, and this deck was $8, and I thought, for $8, you know. And I'm in love with it. As soon as I took it out of the box, I was like, ooh. This one also is Guilt. I have mixed feelings about Guilt on a deck because it's going to wear off. These cards are very thin, much, much thinner than the Tarot Illuminati. So they're going to be easier to shuffle, but they're also going to wear faster. And they have black borders, so that's going to show wear just immediately, probably, which is unfortunate. But these are just really interesting. And I know that Al Moon, God, I wish I could, I'll link her down here so you know who I'm talking about. I wish I could remember, it's like 531 or something. She hates the artwork on this deck. I thought that was interesting because I don't think it's particularly odious. And this was a card that she pointed out that she didn't like. And I don't know why. This would be the Fool in a traditional tarot, New Beginnings. So she's stepping out kind of on the world. I think it gives you the same feel. But I thought it was interesting that she said she hated the artwork. I think what's nice about this is that the woman on this card is not what you traditionally see in tarot decks. She's probably a size, 14 or 16. She's not super thin, which I think is super refreshing to see a woman of size in a tarot deck. And I was thrilled to see that. May I have those, please? I'm not done. Sure. My daughter's sitting here. I'm not just talking to no one. This is not my favorite artwork, but I don't find anything odious or strange about it. I don't know. Awareness. So this is not a tarot deck. It's an oracle deck, but it's similar to a tarot deck. And I think it has, it has a major arcana, and then it has minors, but they're different. They're not called the minors as we would normally think about them. And then instead of court cards, it has chakra cards. I'll show you those in a second. Intuition. Fertility. I know those of us who are done having kids like cringe at getting that one, right? Authority. Wisdom. So this would be the Hierophant, and I really love this image in comparison. I absolutely hate the Hierophant card, particularly in those decks that just feel like they have to show you a Christian priest with acolytes. Gag. Hate them. Love it when they find a different way to show that. Harmony, so this lovers, right? Is that right? I don't know all the numbers to the major arcana, my bad. Triumph, I do know this would be the Chariot. The Hierophant is my horoscope card, so Taurus, that's the card for Taurus. And then Chariot is my birth card, so that's why I know those. Strength, I think this is a really nice way to do it, I think. Solitude, I'm not going to show you everyone. I was surprised that she said she didn't like the artwork to these cards, because I don't see anything that I find, you know, it may not be my favorite artwork, but I don't find it hideous in any way, at any rate. You know, different strokes, whatever. I was interested in that. So they have chakra cards, and they all have that, whatever this is called, symbol for the chakras. They're all different. You know, that typical yogic symbol, whatever, for the chakras. Throat chakra, blah, blah, blah. It goes through all of them. Oh, there's 7, right? And here's some more of the cards. And these have different borders because these are minor arcana, and I don't know how they all relate, the different colors relate to the different suits in a regular tarot deck. I don't know how yet. Spiritual strength, accelerated motion. This must be wands because I know that's got to be the 8 of wands. And I think that was a really creative way to do it. Deception and envy. Conflict and defeat. This one's interesting. Taking a tumble down a flight of stairs. Rest and rejuvenate. Sorry, get your fingers off the cards. Like I said, with the borders, not all of them are black. This blue one must be swords because I know that's 2 of swords, mental conflict. I think that was an interesting way to show it. This green must be, yeah, the green must be pentacles. Emotional loss, so there's the 5 of pentacles. And what a creative way to do it. It was really well done. And it doesn't leave me with that same, like, oh, broke, hopeless feeling as the 5 of pentacles does, in a sense. So yeah, artwork is different. I don't find it off-putting, any of them. I don't find it, this one's a little bit strange. Firm foundation. I don't know. Recognition and reward. But I really like this, and I'm really looking forward to working with it and learning about it. There's universe, so that's got to be the world card in regular tarot decks, correct? Truth. This one's really nice. Again, the black border, so this must be the major arcana, or how it corresponds to major arcana. So yeah, interesting deck. I'm looking forward to using it. And like I said, I'm finding that with some of these oracle decks that I'm really enjoying using them, and their energies are very just right on. And you know, when I was talking about tarot decks kind of screwing with your fairy energies, and sometimes I mean that. Sometimes you can take a tarot deck and you do a reading and it's just, you can't connect it, and there's stuff from this suit and that suit, and nothing makes a cohesive whole for you. And you know, if you're feeling like that with some of your decks, and you think, okay, this is just ridiculous, and you scrap it, you try that deck again later, like you go to a different deck, you try that deck again later, and it's still, I swear that they are screwing with you. I don't know how that works, whatever, but they're messing with you, I'm just convinced. And that's one of the reasons I don't have many fairy things. I had a fairy tarot, I think it was called the Fae Tarot, that I recently gave to my son because I just could never get anything but a scattered, jumbled mess with it. So especially when you're working with tarot, or you've worked with tarot for a long time, you're looking for something a little bit refreshing, you can move, try an oracle deck, or for daily draws, or if you're just tired of the negativity and you're really looking for something that has a positive message, I think oracle decks really excel. in doing that. And even the darker oracle decks, I haven't seen any of them that are really dark, but for example, the Oracle of Shadows and Light, Lucy Cavendish with Jasmine Beckett Griffith artwork that is just stunning, but a little bit darker in its nature, but still usually a positive message, and certainly not like Healing with the Fairies is going to be what have you. But so if you're needing a break or you want to try something different, I found it a really refreshing change, and I've really enjoyed getting to learn the new symbolism and think about divination tools differently, and just a difference. And I really have found that I found a new respect for oracle decks, and even Doreen Virtue to an extent. Anyway, if you have not picked up Tarot Illuminati, really the two stand out from this video, and I know it's just a rambling mess, but the two standouts from this video really are the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck by John Holland. Really interesting deck, very intriguing. There are a lot of videos about it on YouTube, so you can find one that's a more cohesive, probably more interesting take on it than I had. And like I said, I haven't even read with it yet, so I don't know. But and the Tarot Illuminati. If you're a collector of tarot at all, you like tarot, you read with tarot, you need to go get this. It's in the neighborhood of $30-ish, but well worth every cent. If you're a collector, you might consider buying two, because this kind of deck I don't think is ever going to come around again. I think this is a kind of like Deviant Moon, really a one-off, and if you like it, you might want to purchase more than one, and just keep one in reserve. Read with one, keep one in reserve, what have you, or trade off so you don't wear one quite as badly. But again, like Deviant Moon, I think it's going to be a one-off, and I don't think there's going to be anything that comes close to this. So if you haven't already gotten one of these, do it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope it wasn't too ridiculous, and if any of you are still with me, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.